What screams I'm depressed? When you can't even imagine a change in your life that would make you feel better. Edit, this has clearly resonated with people. As disheartening as this sounds, I've found that understanding this and knowing that it isn't true, it's just the depression, really helps in pushing your way through. I've always hated the idea that depression is being sad because it's really being hopeless. You aren't having a bad day, you're having a normal day that is miserable, and that's how all of the days from now on are going to be. Hopeless is a great word to describe it. Another major red flag that I honestly didn't catch on to early enough was fits of anger. I was angry at everything, all the time. Everything was ugly, I bitched and moaned about little shit and would fly off the handle for the dumbest reasons. Not showing interest in things and people you once loved. Your bed is your bestie but you can't sleep. You either can't stop eating or the idea of eating revolts you. Yeah, I can't stop eating sometimes and I'd go a whole day without food. Me too. I have my mandatory daily salad that I usually buy at the gas station. It seems like I'm a health nut to outsiders, but really it's a way to just, well, not fucking die. I've lost like 50 pounds since early last fall, and a few people asked what I did, like diet and exercise wise. I just make up some shit that sounded okay. When really I just don't care to eat. A few meals a week is the best I've been able to do for some time now. Getting drunk or high at any opportunity, often alone. Being desperately lonely, but not wanting to bother anyone or guilt them into spending time with you, so you just sit there doing absolutely nothing, waiting and hoping for someone to get in contact with you, but they never do, so you just spend your free time doing absolutely nothing but watching videos and idly swiping through Reddit and Tinder, getting gradually closer and closer to a complete breakdown, and/or suicide. I want you to know I took this very personally. I remember the days of locking myself in my room after work with a bottle or a couple six-packs while my roommates would knock and ask if I wanted to grab dinner or play some games. It was always nah, I'm just gonna go to bed, and I would just sit alone in silence and drink till I felt better, but it was always temporary. I know it sounds cliche, but it does get better. I just had to find better outlets. A loss of passion for doing anything, everything is a struggle, including getting out of bed. You go inside yourself and find it harder to engage with other people or relate to them, and no longer value yourself. To the majority of people it is misread as being lazy or slobbish, but in reality you don't care anymore and lose interest in just about everything, and that includes yourself. Edit, holy hell, this is by far the most upvoted I've ever had, and I've never had a single silver or gold before, so thanks so much to the people who gave them to me. I only just woke up to my comment from yesterday, and I can see a lot of people are discussing their depression, or due to what I've said now realize they have it. I think it is truly saddening that so many people have this awful illness and we don't feel like we can talk about it. To the people who see this comment and relate, I have also felt like this. From the ages of 13 to 19 I had depression that began due to high school isolation and bullying, but its effects still impacted me years after, and I often wanted to kill myself and had suicide plans and actively wished to die. I never talked to anyone about it, and none of the people around me knew I ever had depression at all. No, depression gets triggered by a plethora of reasons, but the advice I give you guys is to talk to a professional about it. I still really wish I went to see someone about it even now it is over. I promise it does get better, but you have to keep pushing forward. I'm so sorry to all the people who endure this illness, but please keep fighting, because mine has finally ended, and that feeling of no longer hating yourself and wanting to be on this earth for something, anything, is worth living for, I promise you. I wish all of you the best, and please believe me when I tell you that if you keep fighting it, it does get better. That little pause and eyes glaze over for the briefest of seconds before answering how are you? With some variation of good with no elaboration. It's the eyes glazing over part that I've witnessed a few times. The light sorta recedes into the back of their mind for a minute before saying certain things. Every time a thread like this comes up, it's always the same responses. Poor hygiene, lack of interest in things you used to love, can't sleep or sleeping too much, not eating or eating too much, etc. And I always scroll through thinking, oh I do this too. And it always makes me a little sad. But this comment, coded 434, this comment is too fucking real and brought me to tears. Putting your mask on and getting ready for the storm you're going to face when in public. I often feel like that. Sometimes I'll do a physical routine where I'll close my eyes and take a breath, putting the mask on, before stepping out the door or walking into work. Sometimes that mask falls and I find myself talking about things that, if I'm not careful, would uncover my depression and lead to awkward questions. Being lonely but somehow not wanting to reach out to people at the same time. Every damn day. Thoughts like, if I disappeared from the world, would anyone notice a difference? Kinda scream depression/suicidal. Even further towards suicide is, if I disappeared, people would actually be better off. My family would be happier, my friends wouldn't have me dragging them down all the time. They'd be sad for about 5 seconds before they realize how much better their life is without me. I'd be doing everyone a favor. Shit, that's my thought process exactly. That's the depression talking. It's an insidious bastard, of close relation to the anorexia demon that tells a 75-pound woman that she's fat and needs to lose at least 20 more pounds before anyone could possibly love her. Your friends and family will not be better without you, just like the 75-pound woman does not need to lose another 20 pounds. Get help now. Watching the same movies or TV shows on Netflix because it's familiar, and you don't want to risk watching something that you might not like. For me, it was Hot Fuzz, Futurama, and Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown. Hoping your friends call or text wanting to hang out, because that means someone cares enough and appreciates your presence. Smiling through it all, because you don't want your friends to worry about you, but you know that you're going to cry yourself to sleep that night. I actually used to watch Anthony Bourdain when I was severely depressed as a teenager because it helped me feel like I was elsewhere instead of where I currently was. It helped me a lot. Sometimes overly happy people who go out of their way to make others feel better, sometimes are really the ones struggling and don't want others to feel that way. This isn't always the case, but it does happen. Yes. Also, there are a lot of people who are depressed but don't have the obvious symptoms, or their personality doesn't match what goes on inside. I have always had a bubbly and outgoing personality, so when I was 16 and I told my parents that I had been suffering from severe depression and anxiety for years, they were totally surprised. Even when I was hospitalized, I was the one ordering pizza for the floor and organizing Scrabble tournaments. But I wasn't manic. Inside I hated myself and wanted to die. I often find that the most dangerously depressed people are the ones who don't show any signs to the outside world.